Hi guys, it's MyPets1031 and today I'm going to be showing you how to leash train your bunny. So the first thing that you're going to need is a harness. You never ever want to put a collar on your rabbit because they are very fragile creatures and their necks are probably the most fragile thing. And if you have a collar on them, it could get snagged. Or if you have a leash onto the collar and they freak out about something, they could get seriously injured and even kill themselves. So it's just not a good idea to ever use a collar on a rabbit. If you do need to do something with your rabbit that it would require a leash, always make sure that you use a harness. The most common kind of harness is the H-style harness. This is just where it has two loops, one for the neck, one for the midsection, and then they're connected. I don't really like using the ones that are connected on the top and the bottom for rabbits because they're a little too constricting, and I feel like if the rabbit needs to, it should be able to escape from the harness. They also have some that look more like vests that you can buy, and these can be a little easier to make sure that your rabbit doesn't slip away from you, but I like the H style a little bit better, just personally. So it's always important to remember when you are doing any sort of thing with your rabbit that they are very fragile creatures. They could seriously injure themselves even with a harness, and you always need to be on the lookout for something that could potentially scare them. You don't really want to take your bunny outside in a leash. It's better to use a playpen, because if something scary such as a car or a dog or any other sort of person or animal comes by, they could freak out and the hesitation of the leash could cause them to break their back or injure themselves in some other way. So it's always best to use harnesses with extreme caution, and you want to make sure that your pet is very familiar with having the harness on before you ever take them into a dangerous situation. For me, the only reason why I harness train my bunnies is because I like to do agility, and the best way to do agility is with a harness and a leash, but you can also do it in different ways if you aren't going to compete, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that your pet's always going to be safe and that they aren't going to hurt themselves while they're on a harness. So Phantom is the first rabbit I've ever had an issue with harnessing. I have harnessed all three of my other rabbits and never had an issue with it. But when I brought home the harness for him, he totally freaked out. It was really hard for me to get it on him, and the best way was to distract him with plenty of treats. So once he's chewing on a treat, I just slowly put the headpiece around him, and then I can let him continue to eat and made sure that he was still comfortable. And then once I knew he was confident and comfortable with the harness, I attached the rest of it. So you want to make sure that the harness is loose enough that they could potentially slip out of it if there was an emergency, but also loose enough so that they don't get their legs caught and you can still contain them. This could take just a few minutes or even days up to several months, but you just want to make sure that your rabbit is really comfortable with having the harness on them and that they are aware that there is something constricting their movements. So once you think that your pet is okay with having a harness on or is acting normal just when they have their harness on as they would without it on, you can start attaching the leash. Rabbits are very, very different from dogs in a way that you don't want to try to force them to go anywhere using a leash. You more want to use it to guide them or just keep them in a certain area, but you don't really want to force them to do anything. As you can see with Phantom here, he doesn't really like having the leash part on. He's not totally ready to go anywhere or do anything while he's on a leash. But just to get them ready, you kind of just want to let them trail along with the leash. Again, it's really important to make sure that you're watching your pet when they have the leash trailing around, because it can get caught on things and that could injure them. Once your rabbit quits fighting with the leash and becomes more comfortable in it, you could start maybe taking it outside or just practicing agility with it. But still, it's very, very important that you always use a harness and leash with caution. So I hope this video helped you guys leash train your bunnies, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do my best to answer all of my comments. So here's Phantom happily munching away on his treats while he is getting used to his leash. And I hope that you guys can successfully train your rabbits to be on harnesses. And please be careful whenever you're using a harness. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Bye guys!